Mongoose Jake here again, and I'm going to do another long-term review featuring my opinion on a stock blaster, as well as, I've got one slung here around me, my opinion on my modified version. I'm going to combine the two into one video. This will be a little shorter. I'm not going to have a range test to go with this, but I will fire a few shots over the chronograph to verify my statements. Now, of course, what you see here is the sort of halfway infamous Nerf Recon MkII. Mark II being, of course, the way to designate the fact that this is the second version, because the Recon's been around in name for quite a while, and it even was in this same form factor. It was, well, kind of the predecessor to the Retaliator. Was an older pre-elite styled blaster that, if you've been in Nerf for a while, you've seen, you've heard. It was an old yellow one, if you remember the genuine yellow. Much like the color of one of my three Vulcans here. This yellow. Now, of course, the Recon's been around, and Nerf reintroduced it in the Modulus series. And initially, it had a few problems. Neither one of mine are of the first batch. The first batch, when it came out, it wouldn't accept the 18-round magazines. And of course it wouldn't accept drums or anything else. And if it wouldn't accept 18 rounds, a lot of them wouldn't accept aftermarket magazines. But as you can see with mine, using one of my Worker 22 mags, it accepts everything just fine. Both of mine are at least of the second batch or later. This one I've had for well over a year. This one I just bought a few months ago. But I've had it long enough now that I've tested it, used it, had other people use it, and it's a favorite of mine, actually, out of the Nerf line. And I am a Springer guy. Now, I'm not as big on the flywheels. I'll get into them a little bit more so as time goes on. But springs are my thing. And this one, I love the form factor of it. It's fairly compact. It's not, compared to, say, like I've still got my Sonic Ice Retaliator waiting for me to do the job of gutting it and rebuilding it. But, you know, compared to that, it's much more compact. And that was the idea, to provide something that is much like a Retaliator in the fact that top prime, magazine fed from the bottom, with both a barrel and stock attachment point. Because at its core, that's exactly what a Retaliator is. The key differences were, well, this had a handguard. Retaliator does not. This is in Modulus line. The Retaliator was in, or, you know, before in the Sonic Ice, as well as mainly being in the Elite line. Well, for me, one of the only real key differences is side rail. If you're going to modify a Retaliator heavily, one of the absolute most popular things to do is to take your Retaliator and put an aftermarket pump grip kit on it. Well, if you do that, what you're doing is you go into the bolt sled. Normally, of course, you're going to upgrade it to a stronger bolt sled, and you put in brackets that come out, attach up here to a pump grip, and the brackets run the length, and they push the whole bolt sled back when you pump it. When you push forward, loads and fires. Well, I'm not going to do that to Retaliators because, well, I got a Rampage. If I want a front pump grip, I got an Interceptor. I've got an Alpha Trooper. I've got plenty of forward pump grip. I'm going to keep my Retaliators in their stock form, just like I did with my Recon. But, side rail. If you're going to actually keep it with a stock form factor, something that is nice is that if you're going to grip the top rail, that's useless. You can't put anything on it if you're going to grip it, because you'd rip a sight right off. So having the side rail, which we do play around with some outdoor nighttime Nerf, well, having a flashlight on there is nice at times. Now, side rail makes that possible. Or if a number of different attachment points, companies make magazine storage options where you can have a magazine holder on the side, and that itself would be a nice option, to have a mag holder right there on the side rail, something a Retaliator doesn't have. So for for the different color option, the slightly different form factor, the fact that it has side rail, the Recon Mark II was nice. But when it first came out, it did have that mag problem, which Nerf almost immediately solved. And the other factor was stock ones had slightly less than Elite performance. Don't know why, because the internals are interchangeable with Retaliator. Unfortunately, I don't know if maybe it was a design intentionally made to be slightly less powerful than the Retaliator, but they put a couple holes in the breech design to where instead of hitting the 70 FPS average, it would be more in the 65 to 66, 67 range, which both of mine when stock were hitting around 65 to 67 normally. Sometimes ones that touch that 70 FPS mark, and I'll show that here in the chronograph test here in a second. Because the funny thing is, you can buy one of these, drop a Orange Mod Works Retaliator Stage 1 and 2 kit, and push it up almost to 100 FPS with those two drop-in kits. Which is exactly what I've done. This one will average between 95 to 100 FPS, with only mods being done of lock removal and Orange Mod Works Stage 1 and 2 kit using a 7 kilogram spring. That's, Orange Mod Works kits are not cheap. That's, another, I believe, almost $20 a piece. So those two kits plus the original cost of the blaster, which these retail for about $18. So you're looking at 18, and then you can find them on Amazon, the bare bones version. I actually bought my second one for under $10. But Orange Mod Works kits were ranging around, $20 a piece. So you'd have $60 dropped into this pretty quickly, unless you bought the bare bones version that came in a plain box from Amazon, and you had a stock blaster like that. I had the spare attachment to throw on, because I think that kind of completes this thing perfectly. So does a worker stock and a worker mag, and a single point sling like I have. But the fact is that if you don't want to have to do custom work, very nice, very comfy, very easy to use, and can easily be made into a 95 to 100 FPS competitive blaster for many local wars. So, without further ado, I'm going to back up what I say with a quick chronograph test. Okay, here we go, firing standard elites first out of the stock version, and then I'll do the modified. .1, that'll be an error reading. Low reading, 56.1. 61.7. 60.7. And out. Time for a modified version. 88.6. That one didn't even read. Let's throw in an extra one to take care of that false reading. .1. 98.9. And I knocked the magazine off the workbench. 96. 91.4. Okay, that was the last one. I'll deprime that. Now we'll go back to my final opinion. Okay, just a quick way to finish up here. As you've seen, this doesn't fire at elite range, elite performance. The FPS is just a little low, and if you were to average out those shots, you're going to find right at about 65. I'm not going to here right now, but I just wanted to show you with some live demonstration. And then as you've seen, this was hitting it up to the upper 90s. I did have a low shot at the 88 mark, but that's more on the dart than the blaster. But that shows you that with drop-in parts, because all I have in this modified version is a Orange Mod Works Stage 1 and 2 Retaliator kit, which they do list as available to fit the Recon Mark II, with the one catch being their metal trigger they include is designed for the Retaliator. It does not fit the Recon, because they do have a different trigger design. So I have actually an extra metal trigger to maybe put in something else if I have a couple of Retaliator builds I eventually do. But for me, I actually find that this is an overlooked blaster by many. It came out, the mag issue kind of soured people on it immediately. There was a few bad reviews put up. I remember Jangler put up a bad review, not as in his review is bad, but he didn't like the fact that it wasn't compatible and that you had to actually trim part of the mag well to make it work. Well, Nerf fixed that. They fixed it very quickly. It's like they realized, oh, wait a minute, we did something wrong. It wasn't supposed to go out to market that way. And they fixed it immediately with this next batch. And for whatever reason, they decided to power it down by putting holes in the breech design. It vents off air that should be going directly into the dart. And it makes it a little weaker than the Retaliator in stock form. But internally, every mod that fits the Retaliator fits in this shell. So if you're going to mod, and you know you're going to mod, if you know that for a fact, well, take a look at it. Do you like the looks? Do you prefer the white and the orange? Do you like the fact that it's got the handguard? Do you like the side rail? If you answered yes to those, then buy this over the Retaliator. If you don't like it, then you'll see it and you'll know it. Because basically, when it comes to modding, it's a Retaliator with a different look and a side rail. Pretty much sums it up. Retaliator that looks different with a side rail. So for me, that's fine. The stock one goes in the loaner bin, and my modded one goes on my single point sling as a backup. I don't typically use it as a primary. I'll use it as a primary once in a while. Use it as a backup because it's very slim, very sleek, and normally I'll wear it over my left side, and it becomes a very nice, handy go-to, almost 100 FPS blaster that it's just kind of fun, and you know that goes for anybody who likes Retaliators as well. But it's Bunker's Jake taking a look at the Recon Mark II with my long-term review of the stock and modded versions. I thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you're interested in anything to do with what I've mentioned on this video, whether it be the Recon Mark II or the Orange Wildworks upgrade kits for the Retaliator and Recon, I will put links in the description below so that you can find those products for yourself. This is Bunker's Jake saying thanks for watching and signing off till next time.